On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out how the first hard-hitting Marvel show turned out with Disney Plus's Echo, who would have been in the Avengers of the 70s, and what a Marvel Die Hard movie would look like. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show. What's up, nerds? Welcome to the Superhero Show, the only show on the internet that reviews every single live-action television show based on a comic book, as well as some of the animated comic book-based TV shows as well. My name is Cassie, and I will be the host for this episode, this itty-bitty, teeny-weeny, yellow polka dot bikini, Shush Junior episode. Even though it's teeny-weeny, I can't do this alone because I am what the industry calls codependent. So I've brought my friends along. But I have brought the best of the best, you guys. The creme de la creme. I've brought the girlies. Girl Squad, Oops All Girls. Let me introduce Caitlin first.
Oops All Girls. That's the best type. Everyone likes that. You know when you get that like Captain Crunch? You don't want the one that destroys your mouth. You want the one that is nice, ball, circular, and perfectly in your mouth going to choke you, but still great. And that's us.
I've had that conversation so many times. I don't like the ball one.
What?
I don't either.
Okay, well, that's
like
weird.
But this is
I
a
like
ball-free
the
episode, so I feel like that actually still applies.
There are no balls here.
I think that's what we said last time when they weren't here. We said it was a scrote-free episode.
Yeah.
I think
Is it
we
no
also
script zone?
implied that we were in charge of the removal of the balls, and that's why they were free.
Is that why we got called into a meeting after last
I
time?
think that may be.
They're like, listen.
You guys were
It's-
very detailed about the process of removing our scrotum and balls.
It's like,
So
the comic books, how did how did we tie that together with the scrotes?
It's obviously something on our mind quite often. We could center a whole episode around it.
that other voice you hear, of course, is Books. Books, welcome to it.
Hey, I'm also codependent, and if you're codependent, don't find people who will fix your problem. Find people who are also codependent. You never have to do things alone. Like
Enablers.
We love that.
You kind of just naturally all find each other because you can't do anything by yourselves. So you guys are just like the ones kind of there.
It's a unique situation though, being introverted and codependent, because you're not naturally going to gravitate towards people, but you need people.
Yeah, it's this miracle of science and nature that happens where people just kind of stand in a room and then you find each other and you're like, you're the codependent awkward one? Me too. Should we join forces? Yeah.
Hi, I can't be here alone.
Yeah.
You also can't be here alone. Let's do this.
Let's do this. The people who can't say anything directly to anyone but are also making snide funny comments the entire time. That is your codependent introverted best friend right there.
And this is your guide of how to make codependent friends. Again, not here for comic books. Can't do it.
Ball removal and codependent friendships.
Actually, no, you be our codependent friend right now. We need you. We are you.
Yes.
Everyone. Yes.
We are Groot. We are them. That's a comic book reference. I fucking nailed it, guys.
Woo, tied it all together.
Bitches.
Scrotes.
We will get screamed at if we don't talk about comic book TV shows, though. That's what the people are here for. It's what our bosses are screaming at us to do. So this episode, it is a junior one. We will be talking about a fair amount of things, though. Later up, we'll be talking about 2 episodes of What If. But before we get to all of that, let's dig into Echo. In the first episode of Echo, we get Echo, aka Maya Lopez's origin story. We see the tragic turning point in her childhood when her mom died in an accident and she had to go live with her dad in NYC, who works for Fisk. After her dad gets killed by Hawkeye, Maya starts working for Fisk as a way to get revenge on his killer. She ultimately ends up getting said revenge and simultaneously becoming my hero when she finds out Fisk wanted her dad killed, so she kills Fisk. We then step into the present where Maya has gone home in an attempt to get help from her uncle to take over Fisk's operation. Taste Buds, I ask you, do you feel that this series will be a breath of fresh air in the list of Disney/Marvel TV series?
It's already darker. Yeah, there's a big hope. But I already feel like it has a different vibe than a lot of the other Disney Plus shows that we've seen, especially Marvel-wise. And it's much darker, which reminds me of like the Netflix ones.
Yeah.
The only thing I did think was different was obviously the costume of Daredevil. And the fact that they put Kingpin in that Hawaiian shirt. I will never forgive that Hawaiian shirt. We saw that in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I understand, but it still was just jarring to see that. Like those are my two notes right now.
To be honest,
so we're gonna check
at the top.
The beginning.
I liked the Hawaiian shirt because I think it heightened the weakening of him. He's always so dignified and clean and like in control, and to see him disheveled as hell in this tacky Hawaiian shirt just shows how low he has fallen, and I think that's something
that
I
he
appreciate.
Came from a Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville
For
buffet,
real? But he still had to have his white blazer on so you knew who he was. And those
fucking Miami
big wide shoulders,
giant ass shoulders.
Yeah, say Miami. This is fucking
white suits
New
are
York.
Miami. That's a very Miami.
Yeah, he's bringing Miami vibes to New York in a way that I absolutely hate.
Yeah. Costumes are definitely like the jumpsuit, tracksuit crew. I love that. That's their signature.
That's like the tracksuit gang.
The tracksuit gang. How are we going to identify each other? You know, like how Juicy kind of had its moment with Velour. What if we did
the Juicy gang
regular tracksuits?
Honestly, this was a great show. Everything in the Marvel universe would have been improved if the tracksuit game was the Juicy Tracksuit Gang.
The Velour squad.
Just a nice little tight, snug ass, juicy across it. Beautiful.
The more ass we can see, the better.
Yes.
If Disney needs to learn anything on these Marvel series, we like the booty.
We do like a booty. One thing I do think that they learned also from this, from like the other stuff that they didn't do, is they gave us like half this episode was a recap. So we figured out, we remembered, we were like, oh yes, I did watch Hawkeye. Do I remember what happened? Hell no. But this was a great recap of all of that, plus like give us a little bit more of her backstory. So you didn't even have to watch Hawkeye to know who she was. So I like that you can just like jump right into this and know like everything.
It did that, but it didn't feel weighed down by it. It didn't feel like
it felt weighed down by that.
No,
for
it
you?
didn't. It didn't feel bogged down by this backstory. A lot of time when they try to like do a recap or introduce you to a character you kind of know, I feel like it gets a bit heavy-handed, and you're like, okay, yeah, we know this. That didn't feel this way at all. In fact, it just reminded me that the entire time I watched Hawkeye, all I could think, and I told my husband so many times, I want to know more about her. She is a character I want to follow. I didn't even know this series was coming out. I'm living in a mom bubble. Like, I literally found out this existed yesterday when I looked it up to watch it.
Fuck yeah.
Because I don't know things exist. I am not on trend.
Yeah, I don't even have the excuse of I was a mom, and this one kind of snuck up on me too. I was like, it's the way they pieced it all together to the point where you were like, hey, this little taste we gave you before, now we're giving you everything about this character. She's fucking badass. And like all of the exposition, like as soon as we got like all this intro and it was like a story-ass story, not to sound like Harry Styles talking about movies, but this was like this like told a story and I was here for it. It was just so refreshing to be like, this is entertaining, and it felt so good.
It was nice to see Marvel back on their game. Hopefully they continue with the rest of their episodes. But the one thing that did surprise me was the first thing that we see is the Choctaw and learning about Chafa, who is the first of the Choctaw Indians or Native Americans. Sorry. And it was so like supernatural and everything like that. These shows that were like on Netflix were dark, grounded, but they were very real and raw, and they didn't have any of like what the Marvel movies had, like the celestial stuff or anything like that. So I wonder if they're going to pull in any of that to this show and how that will balance, because that was the only thing where I was like, oh, I don't know how they're going to do it, because I don't feel like Marvel has done a great job at mixing them both together in their TV shows, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. They did give us just a perfect little taste of like, hey, here's this story. And you're like, seems pretty cool. I want to know more. And then we've just kind of pieced out from it and we're focusing on her. And now it's just like in the back of like, I want to know more about them and what they are.
And it's like, it keeps popping up. Like she's getting flashbacks or something. It's like, was that her?
Yeah.
How is this tied together? I do want to know.
I think something that gives me hope is this backstory, this Celestial, this connection. It seems very grounded in her unique story, and I think that could prevent Marvel from trying to cover all of the potential elements of, you know, either multiverse or other like worldly power or anything. Yeah. I think they can limit it to just telling bits of this story and maybe, hopefully, stay contained in one world, because they always try to be like,
we've been so burned, guys. Can you tell that we've been like burned and abused by Marvel?
We all have.
Like, please, not this one.
Deeply.
Please, Marvel.
This is a help group for the codependent and those hurt by Marvel.
Which often align, to be honest.
It's a Venn diagram.
So Marvel obsessed. Another thing I think this singular episode does well that I haven't seen in even some entire series from Marvel is that we saw character development and growth in a single episode.
Yeah, we did, bitch.
Which does not even happen sometimes in a whole season for other shows. So I'm hopeful. I think the more I talk, the more I get hopeful too, which is a scary place to be. I don't want to be this way.
It's also rad to have this character, like this lead character is female, has disabilities, deaf, and a prosthetic leg because she had to get
One's
two.
Not enough.
Did we know last time we saw her that she was an amputee?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did?
Yeah.
I did not remember. I was like, are they adding this? Are they retconning? Because I could not remember.
Now check this out. Like she's just such a rad character, and they're doing so well by her, and they're not really hanging their hat on it yet. Yet. I don't trust them to not do this, but they're just like, hey, here's a kick-ass character. She gets to beat the shit out of a creepy guy one time for us.
Oh, amazing.
Again, they don't hang their hat on it. They just let it happen.
They let her exist in the world in a natural way. Oh,
it's so refreshing, and I hope that continues. Full faith, hopefully. But yeah, the action scenes all filmed so rad as hell. Like the fight scenes, so good. We're back to that Daredevil like roaming camera thing, and that has always been my favorite.
That one shot, like two.
God, so good.
It almost feels like it could be like, and not in a cheesy way, because I hate when movies do this. They clearly designed it for it, but it feels like it's pulling you in the way a 3D would. Yeah. But not in the cheesy way where they're having things fly directly at you. But like the roaming camera and the movements of the fight feel like they're like, no, but you're here. You're on the in the scene with them. It's so good.
Yeah, and I think I could be wrong on this, but I think the actor has like a fighting background, and I think that's why those scenes also work so well.
I think she does.
Because a lot of times you could see them like pulling punches and shit, and between the camera angles and her just being a fucking badass, it like you're in it and you're here for it. And then we get to see our beautiful boy Daredevil for a hot minute.
I screamed. No joke, screamed. You could ask anyone else who was in this house. I was like, Daredevil! He's here! He's here! You would think he broke into our house by the way that I screamed. But it was so exciting. I don't know what it is with Daredevil and me, but like if he comes on at the TV screen, I lose it.
We all know what it is about the Daredevil.
It's his ass.
Listen,
which this suit doesn't do it well, but
no. But like even in Spider-Man when he made his appearance, just just immediate reaction. We were watching Spider-Man, and I cared more about the fact that Daredevil just appeared briefly. So,
fuck yeah.
It was Murdoch too. It wasn't Daredevil. It was
true.
Murdoch.
The whole time, like he had so much exposition with her, telling about like how he camped out the whole night, and I was like, "Are we gonna deal with the fact that she has no idea what the fuck he's saying?"
Right? That's what I was thinking. We're gonna deal with the fact
that you're almost villain monologuing for a deaf person, like.
I don't know, like, if we got introduced to him, I know people, like, I don't know if they team up at some point. Like, I don't fully, well, they have to because it's Fisk, huh?
Uh-huh.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So rad. It's going to be So good. Speaking of Fisk, on the Soupsaw Girls episode, it's a safe space. Let's collectively shit on Fisk for a second as he reappeared in our lives.
We already shit on his fucking Hawaiian shirt. Well, actually, McKenna didn't.
Anything that makes this man look like a fool, I'm here for.
Yeah, that fucking shirt. I fucking hate that.
That's the only reason I'm here for it, though. It's not because I support him or his fashion choice. I just like him looking ridiculous because I cannot stand him. So
he looked ridiculous this whole one because, like, the fucking padding they put him in to try to make him look bigger was the most garbage padding I've ever seen in my life. I have been to some bad drag shows, and there's way better padding than is on this little motherfucker. Like, his little shoulders are like, you can see every little piece of foam in that shit to try to make him a wide boy. I hate what they put him in.
I didn't see his fake foam, but now I need to rewatch it just to see the fake foam.
To be fair, the indentations kind of match the little like rolls he gets on the back of his neck, so it just seems canon for his character.
All right.
But as soon as they introduced him, I was like, God damn it. Like, we just get little glimpses of him, and then, you know, he slowly gets more back into it, and I was like, please don't ruin this. I'm on such a high of how good this is, and I don't need this little bitch up in here.
Yeah. I don't want him
Also,
present.
we have the big reveal at the end.
We all
Which
knew it was coming.
did anyone even think that he was dead because they didn't show it on screen?
No, because it just goes away. So at the end of this episode, we cut to it's like at the end of it, and we cut to like a little IV dripping, and you absolutely know it's gonna be fucking Fisk still alive, and you just see him like hooked up to a bed, just like all his eye. Like, I think she got just his eye directly.
Yeah, she got
He
directly
does
in his
sound
fucking eye hole.
raspy and dead as hell, though. I will say
God.
a win for us is he sounds like he's on the verge of dying, but he kind of always does when he talks. I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. But it seems like we're in for more Fisk, which the guys will be excited for. I will not be.
Yeah.
But everything else about this, even when like we said, we spent half of this episode recapping, tying in the past and learning more about her. And then we get to the present where she's in the town, and she's not really reconnecting with everybody. She sees two people from her past, essentially, and that's all she's willing to see.
And she sees Billy Jack. Never forget Billy Jack. The dog, the cute dog.
Oh,
She already forgot.
yes, there's truly an adorable dog.
That gets a lot of screen time, so you know he's going to be important.
Oh,
Gets a lot of
I
screen time,
love
but
Billy Jack
also
already.
gets the sign to him too, and I love that the sign was directed to the puppy, not to the deaf character.
Yeah.
But it was made clearly so Maya could understand. But he was like, no. Right now I'm talking to the pup, though. So
Yeah.
This is fully for my dog right now. But I love all the characters in the town too. Like, this is just such a rich world here, and like all the characters are characters, and I can't wait to like get more of each little person.
it's also just so common. Like, a lot of superhero movies and TV shows are like big city because that's where the crime happens. And I feel like we don't visit small towns enough and like focus on
Oklahoma.
middle of nowhere
reservation.
Oklahoma and how worlds are present here. I'm excited that I hope we stay. I know that won't be the like goal character wise. She would prefer to go because the more she's there, the more danger she brings to her family. But like, I want to stay there.
Oh yeah, I'm all for this. That covers most of this. We're just kind of dipping into the story now. On this next episode, it'll give us more. Like I said in the intro, she went to the town to try to meet up with her uncle, who also works for Fisk. And she's essentially trying to take over his whole thing. She's like,
Cassie, you're missing the point. Her
He has
uncle
two
works at
jobs.
the skating rink.
yeah,
DJ and owner
As a
of a
DJ
roller
and owner.
skating.
And he also controls the trains for Fisk.
You're
This
so
man does a
right.
lot. When you said that this world is rich, this world is so rich.
man owns a bowling alley. He
No,
is.
skating.
Oh yeah, skating. He's
Can we talk about the brief
terrible.
slogan we see on the wall of his skating alley?
Oh, God,
Oh,
this
my
was the
God.
only part that I was like, "Boo,
Yeah,
boo, you
stupid.
motherfuckers!"
Stupid fucking shit.
At first I was like, boo. But then I was like, he's mocking it. So maybe, ooh.
Which it said, what did it say, books?
It said, make America skate again. And I'm always torn on how I feel about the repurposing of this phrase, but I always feel like it's used in a way that's like, no, fuck you, this was dumb, but we're going to repurpose it in a way that entertains us for you being dumb. Yeah. And I'm always for that context. Yeah. If it's that context, all for it.
And it was like, it's like a whole mural, so I respect him for going hard on it.
Yeah, he was not let up.
What I don't respect him for, this man is terrible at running a game of red light, green light.
For real. I was judging him so hard. I was like,
for so long.
He starts a game of red light, green light, which is
in the middle of a conversation with another person.
He sees her. He says, "Come into my office," which is the DJ booth. At which point he says, "Green light." They have a little conversation. He says, "Red light." They all fail. They all eat shit. They all don't stop properly. They all would have been out. He's like, "I don't care."
It's
green
fine.
light, and walks away. They just skate from there. That's just skating.
It's just
That's
green
not
now.
game.
that's not
Shitty
a
music
game.
that will not be interrupted with green light.
He just leaves.
I'm glad that we all judged him on that.
Yeah,
Of
you
all
have
the
to.
skating games, you could have done backward skate. It would have sucked for how long he was gone for, but he could have done backward skate.
He could have, but instead, he didn't even announce it was free skate back. Like he just left it on
People
green
going
light.
in circles. I can't get off right now, Bob. It's red light,
And-
green light.
I need to stress to the people who haven't watched this: he left the building.
Yeah.
He went on the roof or some sort of tower.
They climbed a tower. They went away from the building completely. Climbed a tower to go scope things
Really
out.
high tower.
Like those kids to this day are still skating under green light rules because they don't want to lose.
They don't want to lose. It was my
Oh,
first
now that
thought
we've-
when he pulls her in for a conversation. I was like, "This is the game you're gonna set up, really?"
Also, the fact he hasn't seen her in God knows how many years, at least 18, I would assume. And he's just like, "Oh, bet, come over here."
Not one person skating would have noticed if he didn't go into the DJ booth and arrange for a game. They would have just happily kept on skating. He could have been like,
Looks
"Let's go to this
so-
tower."
So important. Nobody knew the game of red light, green light was going to happen then.
Wait, no, before they go to the tower, she has like fucking surgery in his office, right?
Oh, yeah, she
Oh
does.
my god.
They bring in the
But-
mortician to patch her up.
Jeez.
These kids.
So much happened. So much fucking. Can we also talk about how she stitched herself up with minty like floss?
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. And that's what the mortician had to help her with.
Yeah.
Because it was obviously very infected. Looked like beef jerky with fat all over it. Like, you know, like.
I had to
noodly.
turn away from the screen. I was like, "This is a bit too
Well,
much."
If you
Thank
didn't see it, I feel like beef jerky is a good representation of what it looked like.
not gonna
It
be able to
is.
eat that for a while, but thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then think about some mintiness added to it.
I have the same floss on my counters right now, and I
Ew.
was thinking about that.
Throw
I
it
was
away.
Like, oh, that's my floss.
Oh, man.
Good to know it's multi-purpose, I guess.
If you're ever in a bind.
You
Not
know?
that I think you could stitch yourself up. Actually, no, you could crochet. You absolutely could. Fuck it up, books.
The actual act of it, yeah, I have a tendency to pass out with like minor cuts, though. So like, it would take quite a few times. I might be dead
Just
before
keep
I
going
manage to
one
close up
stitch
the
each
wound.
time.
One stitch at a time. All right, I think that covers. I mean, we hit all the big things.
Yeah.
Red light, green light. Fuck Fisk. Great show.
Billy Jack.
This is all you basically need to know about this one to hop on, I would say. Let's
Her
go.
BFF Bonnie.
Oh yeah, Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Her cousin, aka sister.
Mhm.
They got separated when she moved to New York. And she hasn't kept in good contact. It seems Bonnie keeps reaching out. And she's intentionally trying to stay away from her while she's in town, which obviously, of course, is not going to work.
And
but
Bonnie's
no.
like a paramedic now. She's like watching
Who
her
can
from afar.
fucking ball, guys?
Yeah. Did she make the shot?
I don't know. I can only guess.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
okay.
did.
This is a women first episode.
Oh,
so-
okay. She made it.
She made it.
She made it, and then she dunked on everyone else while she was there too.
Dunked on them firefighters. Get wrecked.
Yep.
Let's go to moments of the week. Caitlin, what's yours?
Well, obviously, it's still like seeing Billy Jack.
Uh-huh.
But to be honest, and Daredevil. But the one before all of those, the moment the fucking screen turns on, we see none other than Leah Clearwater from Twilight.
Yeah, we do.
She plays Chafa from the Choctaw in the story, and she's the one who saves everyone. Meaning we'll probably get to see a lot more of Leah Clearwater, which I love when Twilight, is in other media.
You love to see them
everywhere.
Yes.
I did not know that was her.
Yep.
But I'm glad you clocked it. I'm glad for everyone who else who has clocked it.
Immediately.
Books, what's your moment of the week?
Mine's not a specific moment, but rather like a series of moments. And it's this, I talked about Maya's like character growth that we see during this episode. And I think my moment is this slow progression of her like anger / badassery that we see throughout this whole episode. And it really stems, we can track those moments with like watching both of her parents brutally die in front of her. It's definitely going to like build this. But I think it's done well enough that you can kind of see her face just harden with each new stage. And I also think it's shown in like subtle ways, like she has this family, she's lost this family, she goes to New York. I just think her character, the way it was subtly developed, there's also like a moment like Fisk says like we're family, and you can tell she's kind of believing him. But I think it's such a huge moment every time Maya interacts with the actual family. They speak sign language with her. They take an effort to learn. They take an effort to communicate with her. Fisk is the only one who ever has an interpreter next to her. And so it's crossing her mind that, especially in the moment when she's doubting this we're family, everyone in her family has always taken that effort to make sure they can communicate with her. And he has not done that whatsoever. He's just hired someone. He's taken the easy way out. And I think that's such a subtle, but it's an intentional marking, because a lot of the deaf community, their local community, their family, their neighbors, they don't take that effort. So I think that's a nice little jab.
The only time you see him attempt it is when she has the gun.
Yeah, when she has the power.
Yep. And he tries to sign family in the weakest little bitch ass way.
And it's clear that he can't even fully, communicate or put an effort in, because he never tried. He doesn't actually see her as family. So,
very good moment of the week. Mine, obviously, red light, green light. It drove me insane. But also, at the end of this episode, we got this is what's coming up this season.
Yeah.
There is the briefest 2-second clip of a monster truck crushing cars.
I saw that too, and it was like the only thing on my mind. I was like, what is going to happen with this monster truck?
We need to know.
I was already
Oklahoma,
completely sold on this. Oklahoma, small town life. This is why you don't put it in New York City. You get monster trucks when you get out of New York City. It kicks ass. I can't wait. I'm very excited for this show. That is it for Echo, though. If you want to watch it, it's over on Disney Plus. I do have some time to talk about a website, though. And Caitlin, I know you've been, kicking around the ideas of some website. You can give us the rough pitch right now.
Yep, it's not rough, actually. It's very soft. Because
my apologies.
It's all about slippers, bro.
Slippers?
Yeah.
Are you selling slippers?
I'm reviewing slippers. So I will have people send me slippers, and I will review them. And I will wear them for a week. And then if they pay me extra, I'll send them back with my foot stink in them.
Okay, so it's something else. Yeah. It's something else. I get what's happening here. But yes, this is about the slippers.
Yeah, slipper reviews. They're nice and soft. They're comfy.
Is it really
Sometimes
the
they
review?
aren't, though.
Or the slipper stink? It feels like there's a second
It's two
business.
separate, okay? There's an e-commerce version, okay? I got to make some money somehow. Jeez, don't shit on a girl for trying to make a couple bucks.
We absolutely will not. This is a woman first episode.
That's right. I'm a 10 out of 10 on Wiki.
Get that money from that slipper stink. Proud of you.
That's right. That's right.
Just real quick, so people can start sending you some good slippies. What's the URL on that guy?
It's going to be slippy.feet.org.
Slippy.feet.org.
Yep.
Love it. Perfect. Beautiful website. The only thing that I would say is I think you need a little bit of help managing it, potentially setting it up. So I'm going to send you over to my friends, cybersprout.net. There's some feet people. There's some website people. They offer premium hosting that's specifically built for WordPress. They handle security maintenance, backups, speed optimization even. They work hand in hand with you, foot in foot in this case, let's be honest. They focus on collaboration and they fucking love feet. Cybersprout.net, your partner for a digital world. Coming up next, it's the pull list. We are back for the pull list where we talk about all the other shows we watched this week. First show starting it off is What If episode 202. On the second episode of What If, we see what would happen if Yondu turned over Peter Quill to his father, Ego.
Keep going. Keep going.
Ego.
Let go, my ego. Give me Peter. And Peter fought Earth's mightiest heroes. We see Hank Pym as Ant-Man, the Winter Soldier, Howard Stark, Peggy Carter, Bill Foster as Goliath, Thor, and King T'Chaka work together to take out the young celestial being Peter that has been destroying worlds. Really, all little Peter wanted was to go to his home planet and back to the life he missed. Taste Buds, I ask you this. How did you like Earth's mightiest heroes versus the Avengers?
I thought they were fun. It was like very much. So this was like set in like I think the 80s, like 88. I think is what it was set in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very much mostly an all men thing. And then there's Peggy Carter, and like whenever she said something, or Hope, who is Hank Pym's daughter, they were kind of shut down. And I think that is one thing we do get with the current Avengers is, yeah, sometimes they like to like really pat themselves on the back for having women in it, but it was a lot more inclusive feeling than this Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and I think that was one of the biggest differences I felt like just watching this even.
Mm-hmm.
So great job, Avengers. I mean Marvel for really making us feel like we're in the 80s. But yeah, no, this episode was actually really fun. So the first episode I watched was boring. It was What If Nebula was in the Nova Corps. And basically, what if she was a narc? And it was like kind of like Blade Runner,
Rad-ass character.
Yeah, it was like Blade Runner, and it was just trying to be too hard. This one was like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Like it felt like what If was created for, and it's not the Peter Quill we know, because it's Peter Quill as a boy, and he's just a boy with power. He's done what his father has told him to do, because that's all he can do. And he's destroyed worlds. He went to and destroyed some of like the worlds in Thor's area, but not Asgard yet. So that's how Thor comes into it, because he's like, I need to stop this being before he takes down Asgard. And so Thor comes down to Earth early. The Winter Soldier, Peggy recognizes him as Bucky. Like, it's so interesting how just one little thing changes. And this episode is actually really, really cool how it does all that. And then in the end, we see Peter Quill. He fights his dad. And the only reason he decides not to fight Earth's Mightiest Heroes and instead fights his dad is because Hank Pym's daughter, Hope, she actually talks to him and finds out what's going on. Why is he sad? Why is he doing this? And just having that small conversation stopped all these men from trying to murder him.
Let's go.
Wonder what else we could do with talking and expressing ourselves and getting into our emotions.
The amount of Peggy Carter moments where she was like, it's interesting how, like, if you just listen to, like, what can get solved. Wow. I was like, fuck yeah, Peggy. It was so good. But yeah, so Peter Quill versus Ego at the very end, which we see in the beginning.
Sorry,
Ego. Sorry, my bad. Peter Quill versus Ego at the end, which at the beginning, we see Earth's Mightiest Heroes versus Ego, and they get fucking smashed by him. Like, Ego smash. It's like he pulls up the Earth, he takes them all down so easily, and the only person that can, like, face him, you can see, is going to be his son, so Peter. So when they face each other, they get this big seed, and they kill him with a seed. I don't remember...
With a seed?
Yeah, I don't remember really Guardians of the Galaxy, but I faintly remember that we get to see that in Guardians of the Galaxy as well. And I believe it's the same way that he kills them there.
Interesting. Yes.
Is that like it's like the source of his power, right? Or something?
Yes,
like that.
It's like the seed that he leaves at every planet,
yeah.
Where he has to reap like his child. It's the seed that
what
made his mom have... Yeah,
God,
right? He leaves the seed, and it's literally... It's a physical seed. And yeah, the seed is also the thing that gave his mom cancer and caused Peter Quill's mom to die. Yeah, it's crazy. Wild things. But yeah, we see Ego gets destroyed in this by Peter Quill, and then Peter Quill gets to live a normal life on Earth. But he lives, I believe he ends up living with Hank Pym. So him and Hope are probably going to have like a weird like cousin relationship.
Wonder if he becomes like future Ant-Man instead of a Ant-Man.
Ooh, interesting.
You know? He's like this surrogate.
He doesn't become Star-Lord, that's for sure. And the Guardians of the Galaxy never exist. Yondu's just a Ravager. Ravagian.
That's it. You nailed it. I reading the description of this episode and seeing, I was definitely curious, how are they going to bring all of these characters in who don't this isn't a group already that they just wrote an episode for, and I think the way they did it's actually very clever.
They did it really well, and none of them wanted to be in the same room, and it's I could see this. This is exactly how it should be happening. It was it was one of the best What If episodes I've seen. And I'm not a huge Star-Lord or Peter Quill fan, and I was expecting to hate this episode. And it was really good, actually.
You've sold me. You've convinced me.
Yay. Go women.
Let's go women. Moment of the week?
Moment of the week has to be the moment when Peggy Carter is yeah, you should fucking listen to women every once in a while.
And then just looks at the camera dead eye for 5 minutes, and then you just leave it there. My favorite moment, too.
Isn't that crazy?
There's a direct, subtle little line where she's like, "I'm talking to you."
Yeah, it's you watching it. Yes. All right, that is it for the second episode of season 2 of What If. It is on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Our next episode of the week, guys, can you believe it? It's the third episode of season 2 of What If.
Woo! What are the chances? All right. While working security at Avengers Tower during a Christmas party, Happy is accidentally injected with the Hulk's blood during an attack by Justin Hammer and his crew. As a result, he gains Hulk-like powers while still retaining his rationality. With the Avengers occupied, he enlists the help of Darcy and Maria Hill, but Darcy is kidnapped and it's up to Happy to save the day with his new powers. He manages to save both the tower and Christmas just in time for the Avengers to return. Tastebust, I ask you this. Is there any other non-soup and superpower team-up we'd rather see save the most wonderful season than Happy and Hulk?
Is this like Jon Favreau's love child because he played Happy?
This is gonna make the boys so angry when they hear this. When you said Happy, all I could think of was Happy Gilmore, and my brain shut down for so long. I was like, oh shit, no, there's another Happy. But I was picturing Happy Gilmore for a long time.
Much better than the rest of the episode, so that's fine.
So I'm gonna answer Happy Gilmore and the Swan.
Good call. Good call.
So we get a bad episode, a good episode, a bad episode. It sounds like of What If.
Yeah, that sounds about on par for What If.
Right, so skip every odd.
Every odd one. Mike, you may remember him. He's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Maybe you haven't heard of him, but he's here sometimes.
He's around.
Sometimes.
Anyways, Mike said he watched this episode and he said it was like Die Hard. And it was the first episode was like Blade Runner. This one's like Die Hard. It's
in the fact that it happens on Christmas.
Yeah.
At a Christmas holiday party, like a company in a business tower.
Okay, all right. So that's the three main parts of Die Hard. So I get it. I see it.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to watch it again, that's on Disney Plus. Our final show of the week. We got to do it. Every time we take over, we got to review something that will anger the boys. And listen, it's on them. They recently opened this up to all written forms. So I would like, Caitlin, now's your time to review Twilight.
Thank you. And actually, I'm going to go a little bit obscure. I'm going to go for Dusk the Musical, which we all happen to see, which is a Twilight parody.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, books, you haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I can definitely.
But I'm delighted to hear about it.
I can definitely send this over to you. So Dusk the Musical is a parody musical based off of Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
And it is low budget for sure, and done in Edinburgh, which is Scotland. If you don't know, because I didn't, I had to Google this multiple times, find out where Edinburgh was.
I didn't know where Edinburgh was.
Is that how you say
I
it?
can tell you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I learned something new again. But it's just a really fun shitting on Twilight musical.
Mm-hmm.
There's a moment where there's a bunch of eggs are dancing to a beautiful melody on a piano.
God.
And this led me to to learn more about the Twilight community. So
did it bring it together?
Cassie, I'm going through something right now. I'm on
We're here
Facebook
as your
still.
support group. Oh God,
One of the few people who
Oh,
is still
God.
on Facebook, and there is a group called Twilight Shitposting, which is basically all of the jokes that are in this musical, but in like written form, and basically probably where they took all their source material to make this musical, which is fantastic. It's just great fucking jokes about Twilight and the really niche stuff.
So much. For
Then-
the last month or two,
Yeah.
Facebook has been trying to get me to like this page.
Oh, books.
And
it
I
goes
could
deeper.
not. I've now officially banned it from my page. I'm tired of seeing this. I
So
don't
good.
understand.
They're just so obscure. Everything that is in there is so obscure. But do you guys know what a ratty is?
no.
Do you know what a ratty is?
I
Books?
briefly confused it with Razzie. No, I don't know what a
No,
ratty is.
Ratty. No, like they live in the sewers. Because there's Twilight Shitposting, which has all these great memes and jokes. But if you submit something to Twilight Shitposting and it does not land there, it lands in the sewer, guys. It's just so bad. And it goes to Twilight Sewer Posting. And people who are in that group are called ratties.
Jesus Christ.
And these people are dirty, nasty people. It's just a lot of phallic things talking about Edward's cold dick and Bella wanting the cold dick all the time. And it's just a nasty place, the sewer.
No.
But these are the places where I've lived recently, all because on New Year's Day I decided to watch Dust the Musical with my friends, and it was beautiful. And that moment led me to here, and you all to hear about popsicle fucking, which is basically,
This brings me back to one of the most disturbing posts that still haunts me today, and it was I think it was a comic drawn. I don't know if it was even just sentences or something, and I created an image from it, but it was a Twilight, probably from those ratties, probably from one of the ratties, and it was all about Bella putting her used tampons in a nice little teacup for Edward later.
Oh yeah, no, it is canon in the sewer
Fucking
that
hot
she had.
fucking-
Oh God, he
She had a diva cup, and he used it as a shot glass.
Eat this.
Yeah.
I know.
And then it just spiraled from there because I saw this early on when I had recently read the books, and then I was thinking could he just sense every time she was on her period? Did he just know?
Oh, he had
yes,
to.
okay.
He had to.
That's all
Was
I
it
have.
an extra more difficult time for him? Was he fuck?
I opened this up as a way to get back to the boys, and it kind of backfired on me.
I thought we were going to talk about Leah Clearwater. I was fully down to be listen, villains from Twilight, still better than villain like Fisk.
Truly.
Keelan took it a weird place.
I'm sorry, I had to bring you guys where I'm living right now. In the
Caitlin
sewers.
just need to get it off her chest that she's in the sewers in this fucked up little group.
Join the
Witnessed
ratties.
one post, and it clearly has stayed with me because I probably saw that trending online at some point 8 years ago.
Mhm,
And I'm still haunted by it. The second you said the sewers, I was like, oh, fuck.
Welcome to
I
the
think
sewers,
I've somehow
bitch.
inadvertently been there.
And now we have shared this with everybody.
Yep.
You can all be haunted
You are
in the
welcome.
sewers. You're welcome. And I think that's the perfect place to end this episode on a high note like that. So now it's just time for the outros. Caitlin or books? Who feels more confident about websites? We don't
I
do.
can give it a go.
Say whatever you want, and honestly, yeah.
If you want to visit a website to learn more about this show and other stuff, you're going to want to visit popfilter.co.
Killed it.
And that is the website where you're going to find all sorts of content. If you want to support Pop Filter just a little bit more, instead of just clicking on your regular little Amazon.com, you're going to want to go to popfilter.co/Amazon, and that's where you're going to want to do all of your purchasing, and it helps out this show and others. And if you want to get in contact with us, send us an email. Say, hey, there should be an all girls, only girls, oops, all girls show more often because it's fucking awesome, which you should. You should send an email to contact@popfilter.co.
Even if you didn't enjoy this, send it just to make them mad. Just because it'll bring us a little bit of joy. I appreciate that. Please do that.
If you've never written an email, but you're like, maybe I'll do it this time, you should.
If you've never
Follow
written
that
an email in
impulse.
your life,
In your life.
this is your intro email to
Send,
write.
send us a text to that email. What is it? Contact@popfilter.co.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Send it again. Do it.
Do it. Dougal, we also have another show on the network. Can you share the people? Share the people.
The people should be shared. That movie of the year. Movie of the year, where the guys get really into the movies of every year. And
boy, do they get into them.
oh, if
So
you're
into
like,
it.
I'm dripping for them movies, I want to know directors. And I know too much about directors. That's the show you should go to.
If you like to focus in on minuscule little background people and just talk like really dig into their whole history, movie of the year.
If you're like IMDb, not enough information, movie of the year is for you.
If you like
Weird
to listen
cultural references made in movies that no one actually understood were a cultural reference, it's movie of the year.
if you want to witness three men share one brain cell that's only can think about movies, movie of the year, go check it out.
Somehow manage to finish each other's sentences even if other guests are on the show. Go check out movie of the year.
If you want to spend an hour trying to figure out exactly what's going on, and by the end, be just so impressed that, like, wow, someone knows this much about movies, movie of the year.
If you think you like movies, click on movie of the year. Listen to an episode.
Get
Report
humbled.
back to me if you still like movies. If you still think you like the movies at the level that they like movies. Again, contact at popfilter.co. Let me know if you do like movies after that.
They're in 1973 right now. What happened in 1973? You got to find out by going movie of the year. That's the only way I know.
That's it.
Hootenannies.
Hootenannies. We're also on social media, mainly Instagram, at Your Pop Filter, I believe, over there.
Yep.
Go check it out. Next week, you guys, we got another junior episode for you, but we'll be talking about 2 more episodes of What If and 2 more episodes of Echo. That's it. That's exciting. And for all the girls, I'm Caitlin. For Caitlin, I am Books. And for me, I am the world. Bye, everyone.
Bye.